everybody, welcome to Beyond the Trailhead again. This is a great time to be here. We have an amazing guest. Holly from Grubcan is here. Her and her husband, correct? Your husband does a business with you, Holly? Yeah, her and her husband have this amazing bear can that she's gonna talk about today. And I saw it on the Colorado Trail. We had talked a little bit off grid about it and stuff like that. And so, but I wanted to dive in. I reached out to her because I just thought it was a great ultralight version of something that I think a lot of people get really annoyed with when they're on trail. We always have to have these in our bags and stuff like that when we're on certain trails or on certain national parks. And so, Holly, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking the time to chat a little bit. So without further ado, go ahead and introduce yourself and just let us know a little bit more about what you guys do.
All right. I am Holly Jaleski, and I'm the Chief Creative Officer for Grubcan. And mainly, I gave myself that title because I have the ideas. And then luckily, I'm married to a brilliant engineer who makes them work. And and so I'm just kind of the idea machine, and he's the ones that can make it work. And we're very fortunate. He has a 30-year-old manufacturing business.
Okay.
So when I have these ideas, we already have the capacity. We already have all the skill set and everything to make prototypes and stuff. So we started this journey in 2018 when we were backpacking in Yosemite, and I had this bear canister stabbing me in the back. And we hadn't gotten a half mile down the trail before I said, and I was carrying the bear canister in the middle center of my back because of my back, because it's the heaviest place. So that's where you put the heaviest thing in that place. And normally I would put my tent there when I'm not in a bear country. And so I said, can you design something that's shaped like my tent, our tent, so that it makes it fit better?
Yeah.
And then as we were out and about, and I cannot carry a canister with tools. I lose tools. Luckily, if he's with me, I have a backup plan, but I often backpack by myself too. And I can't trust myself not to lose things. And as we went out, I couldn't even open these canisters anymore. I'm 58 and my hands are pretty small, and I'm in good shape, but my hands just couldn't open them. And even he had trouble opening them. And so as the days went by, we were out for 5 days. We kind of gradually had the idea for the first prototype.
Yeah.
But really, we were thinking more in terms of making this for us. But when we got back and started talking to people, it was really interesting because everybody seemed to have the same frustrations that we had.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, I want one." And we're like, okay, do we want to start another business? and we got really fortunate. And in Flagstaff, they had a pitch contest. So I was like, okay, I'll pitch it. And it turned out that Paul and Alice Bodner from Far Out Guides was in the same thing. And then we got into a class together. And it kind of just took on a life of its own. And it was really fun to do that and to connect with all these other people. I had basically retired 3 years earlier. And so this just became my thing. And it was really fun. So, it just kind of evolved. It just kept evolving. And luckily here in Flagstaff, we have out of Africa who has a grizzly bear that was happy to let us test our prototypes with. And then we have Arizona who has black bears, and all these bears are bears that they have taken in because they otherwise they were going to get killed because they were getting into. And so they all were so excited to have us bring the canisters and let the bears play with them and see what they could do. So we were very fortunate. We were able to test a lot of and obviously what we have now is not the first one. We threw a lot of spaghetti against the wall to get to where we are today.
So when we were talking earlier, you also said that you used to, going back a bit, you used to work at Yosemite as well, right?
Yeah.
So you have
back
a
in
lot
the
of outdoor
early
experience.
90s. Well, I've been backpacking close to 50 years now. My parents were
Wow.
rangers in Rocky Mountain National Park, and I was so fortunate. My dad, I mean, I've been camping on the ground since I was 2 weeks old.
Yeah.
And my dad, luckily, took me backpacking and hiking, and I've been all over the Rockies, before I was ever a teenager. I
Yeah.
I had done a lot of mileage, and I'm very grateful for that. And he
Yeah.
taught me how to be really comfortable in the woods by myself and how to do orienteering if I ever got lost and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been out there a while.
That's cool because
Yeah.
my wife and I, our number one thing after going to all these parks and camping and hiking and stuff, we've even said like once our kids go away, we're trying to figure out how we can become rangers at one of our favorite parks or somewhere and just sell our house and just go away. And our kids want us to keep the house, but
Right.
I'm like, no, I'm out.
Right.
I'm out of here. We're gonna go and do that. But it's always cool to hear somebody that um, has a ton of experience and stuff like that. Because some people create products out of the blue, but you have all that knowledge of, hey, this wasn't working, this wasn't working, this wasn't working, and then you're like, hey, we need to reinvent the wheel, so to speak, with it. Because I mean, everybody knows there's a lot of different bear cans that are out there, and some of them, like most of them, you can't strap to your bag if you want to strap them to your bag because the shape doesn't allow them to.
Yeah.
They're, gosh, they're 5, 6, 7 pounds. I mean, some of them are ridiculously heavy.
And really,
The one,
yeah.
the one that we all know where you have to have a tool to
Yeah.
open it, and sometimes you can't find it. You're trying to use the back of your spoon, but you're trying everything you can to do that. And I
And
think
there's
for
nothing
me,
worse than getting to camp and not being able to get your food because you're starving at that point.
yeah. Oh yeah. I had a time when I had to use the restroom really bad, and I was trying to get some stuff out of my bear can in the middle of the night because I didn't. It was it was way off in the distance, and then it's pitch dark and you're tired, and I get all the way to the can and I forget that I don't have my tool with me.
Oh,
So I had to go all the way back to the
no.
tent, wake up my wife, go back, and so like your can is very unique. So I don't have one here, but I'll try to put one on the screen so that people can see it because it's this great one. It's a great shape,
Mhm.
right? It's slimmer, but then it has great volume. It's got great structure to it. It looks like you can strap it to basically anything because of the way that it has those waves in it.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, are they called waves, or is there a term for the?
So we have 2 kinds out right now.
Yeah,
So we started out with the gravity latch, which is a 10-liter long
yeah,
cylindrical one. We don't make that anymore just because the production of the lids. I mean,
hmm,
that's one of those business learning things. It's
yeah,
way too complicated for us. But yeah, we have the carbon Kevlar
hmm,
one. That's the ultralight, the really light
yeah,
one. And we started making that one because we had so much scrap material lying
yeah,
around from another project. But unfortunately, when we ran out of scrap material, we had to really raise the price on that. So
yeah,
it's made it hard to reach for a lot of people.
yeah,
And people have been asking. Luckily, we have a lot of raving fans, and people kept asking for a cheaper version. So
yeah,
we finally came up with what we call the Wave, which
yeah,
is the clear polycarbonate one.
yeah,
And luckily for us, we didn't know it's not what we were striving for, but it turned out to be close to the carbon fiber weight. It's only a few ounces heavier than that.
yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. When I saw it on your website, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And you just released that this summer, correct?
We did, I think, in April or May or
Okay.
something. Yeah, I can't remember exactly
Oh,
when.
that's
Yeah.
great. That's cool. And
Yeah.
so the lid itself, it has it's kind of like a combo lock, right? It's kind of
It's got what we call a combination
yeah,
lock.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's just 3 rings and you have to line them up. And what was interesting was that we were talking with this would have been in 2020 or
Hmm.
2021. We were talking to the bear biologist in Yosemite at that time, and she's gone. She's not there anymore, but the one, and we were just going, okay, what do you think about this latch? What do you think about? I mean, she had 20 years of
Yeah,
experience of working with bears, and she was so great over the years. She just let us pick her brain, and still at that point she couldn't get us approved for Yosemite, but she was the one who knew bears, and one of the reasons I wanted to create this was because after I had the idea, I kept hearing about people not locking their canisters
Yeah.
because they would carry them and then they wouldn't lock them because then they couldn't get in them. Like, like they have your experience. Like,
Yeah.
I need stuff and they can't.
Yeah.
And so they weren't even locking them. Or worse, people were carrying pieces of aluminum in the back of their pack
Yeah.
so that the ranger knocked on their pack, they thought. And so they weren't carrying a bear canister at all.
Yeah.
And this bear biologist that I talked to said, if anybody had to ever shoot a bear in the head because he'd gotten into food, they would understand why we are so stringent about
Yeah.
this. And when I lived in Yosemite, I was a part of that. I had to see what happened to those poor bears
Yeah.
because people weren't putting their food away properly.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jim had this idea for this combination lock because in Yosemite, it can't be one move because a bear can get into it, but it can't be three because humans won't do it.
Yeah.
To unlock it. But the rings, she said would count as a two. So it was the rings is second motion living off the, putting off the lid.
Yeah.
Is the second. So anyway, so that's how we came to the combination.
Yeah.
It was funny. We originally were going to put like little pizzas on there and, we had all these ideas for doing little really fun stuff, but we've just really kept it simple now.
So how many iterations then I guess you had different iterations of the lid versus different iterations of the can itself. So how long did it take from conception to, I guess, let's say version 1? How many versions do you think you would have gone through?
Version 1 being the one that we actually sold would be the gravity latch. The original idea was a totally different shape, and I'm not going to say what it was because we're still determined we're going to figure out how the bears can't get into it.
Yeah.
But keeping it light and the shape that we want and keeping the bears from smashing it, we haven't quite figured out how to do it. But it's still in the back of our minds of figuring out how to do that. But anyway, so we went through a few different iterations of that version. I would say maybe 3 or 4. And then we finally had to give up and just go to the shape that the gravity latch is in.
Yeah.
And a friend of ours makes big trash cans that has a gravity latch for bear country. And his is different than our gravity latch, obviously, but it's where the idea for the gravity latch came in.
Okay.
And so that's how we started with that one. But by the time we had that one in production, Jim had already been thinking about this wave version because, if you look at the water pipes and stuff, they all have that wave because of the strength that it adds. So he's like, oh, look, I could keep it really light. And so luckily he was able to make the first molds for that in-house at our plant. So we were very fortunate. We have a lot of resources.
So what does your other business do? Because I know on your website it kind of says a little bit like it's like aerospace stuff or something like that.
Yeah. So Jim is a pilot, a huge aeronautics buff. So he's been making airplane parts, and he's an aeronautical engineer, and he's been doing that for 30 years. And so that's what we make, airplane parts for all kinds of different companies, and then we also make bulletproof panels. That go in a lot of just for aircraft.
Okay.
To protect people. So that's why we have the Kevlar. That's how we know. And he's really good at materials, so he really knows what it takes to combine the right strengths. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. What school did he go to? My wife went to Georgia Tech for computer science, and my kids want to go to some sort of engineering and stuff like that. And so it's always fascinating to hear like different engineers and stuff like that too.
He got to go to MIT. He got a he's a little smart.
Super genius.
He got a full scholarship to MIT.
Wow.
So yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Forget it. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So now I'm more bought into the bear can now that I know like an MIT grad has just completely crushed it.
he's really humble about that. And so we don't have it on the website. I don't think. I don't even know what that
Yeah.
says anymore. But he's really humble about it. So he
Yeah.
only tells people that when he's really pulled that
Yeah.
pulled out of them. Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, I have a couple other questions to ask. So I guess one of the questions we always ask is kind of what's an oh crap moment that happened when you were building your brand. So maybe something that was hard. I'm sure getting certifications is probably a hard aspect for bear can safety. But if there's something that you're like, oh man, this was one of the biggest stepping stones, the biggest hurdle for us in creating either the brand or the can itself or your business.
Really, it's the Yosemite thing for
Yeah.
us because we had geared it for that and it's completely out of our control. There's
Yeah.
nothing we can do about it. And that the whole idea was in Yosemite. It's a place that I
Yeah.
love and backpack. And so the fact that that never went through and it's been years and years of saying, oh
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be next year,
Yeah.
has been really hard. I mean, it's, um, and so there was that. But the other thing that interestingly really hard that I think anybody who's starting a business would be interested in is that we were very fortunate in that we got an order from REI for thousands of these
Yeah.
before we'd even started production. And, so for us, it's like we had hit the gold mine.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I don't even know how you did that. And I was blown away by the day
Yeah.
they said, we want this canister and then place the order for it. And we're like, oh, we have to figure out how to make this now. And so we had big distributors. We had it in the store everywhere with the
Yeah.
gravity latch. And it turned out that was not a good fit for us, for our
Yeah.
business model and the way we wanted to do things. And so, I mean, but our poor team was trying to get the orders in the right and when they would pick up, like all these big distributors, they pick up and they tell you, and then
Yeah.
sometimes their people don't show up. And it turned out to be a really hard thing for our team to handle.
Yeah.
And so it was only 3 or 4 months in where Jim and I decided that we were pulling out. We were not going to do that
Yeah.
anymore. Our team is really important to us. I mean, the team from Nova Kinetics, and then we hired some new people to help with Grubcan. But that culture that we create and taking care of our team is really important. It's how Jim has been able to build that business and remain steady and growing as he has and remain
Yeah.
in a really good culture. So after 4 months, we just said, okay, we're stopping. We're going to pause. We're going to not do this anymore. And we're just going to regroup and rethink about what it is that we want to do.
Yeah.
So, and we won't go back to that with the new wave. We are not going back to big distributor.
Yeah.
We're mainly selling online in our own store. And then just a very couple key distributors,
Yeah.
online stores, and that's it. We're really
Yeah.
keeping it simple this time.
I hear, because my wife and I binge watch Shark Tank a lot. And so I feel like every time I see the cast of that show, when someone comes on the show and they say they want to get into big box retailers,
Yeah.
the hosts of the show always go, oh no, they're like, don't do it, And the more I talk to people, the more I see why, like direct to consumer is so much better. And you have that ability too nowadays, with
It's
viral
really easy
marketing
now.
and everything else. It's a lot easier. I mean, I'm always a huge proponent of when I see something in real life, then I go, oh, I want that because I can see it functioning,
Yeah.
and when it's in the store, I can't always, at least I can get a hands-on with it a little bit. But for the most
Yeah.
part, if I see someone that I admire using it, I'm like, oh, he's using it or she's using it. Let me go ahead and get that bear can. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's great. So what's one thing about running an outdoor business and specifically what you guys do that nobody warned you about?
Nobody warned us about anything really. So we were really fortunate. Katua is also in Flagstaff.
Mhm.
And so we were able to talk with the guy who started Katua
Yeah.
and about, the whole thing with, REI, because obviously they're in big
Yeah.
boxes, and how to deal with that. And they were awesome through that whole process. But but there but really, that but nothing else. So there wasn't any. It's a horrible answer, but nobody
Yeah.
warned us about anything. And so yeah, no, I have a lot to add on that one.
No, it's okay. I know it's
But no,
yeah.
actually, something that just popped in my, and I'm not sure this exactly answers
Hmm.
your question, but the thing that we found really fascinating that we did not know is how much of the outdoor industry is dependent on offshore manufacturing.
Oh, okay.
And when we went to go talk to Danny at Cachula, and so he was telling us, why he did what he did and where things got manufactured. And we have been at that point probably pressing for 2 years to try to find somebody in the United States to manufacture our canister
Yeah.
for us. And nobody would touch it. They were like, oh no, if it's, less than 50,000, forget it.
Yeah.
They won't touch it. And you just don't, that's a huge number for things in the outdoor industry.
Yeah.
And that has its ups and downs depending on the season. And so, and then the more we looked, it's like most people were doing offshore manufacturing. And
Yeah.
I did not know that. That was a real eye opener for me.
Oh, yeah. Because I guess because you have your other business that's here in the U.S., you would think you can probably get them made here in the
Yep.
U.S. But I had heard that I was watching a YouTube video and Smarter Every Day. They were making um, the guy who has that YouTube channel. He is trying to manufacture something all in the U.S., trying to just show how you can make something in the U.S. and how hard it is. And he was
Yep.
even getting parts that they had said were made in the U.S., but they were actually relabeled as made in the U.S., but they were from China and all this stuff. And he's like, man, it's
Yeah.
so much harder. And just like you said, he wanted to get something, but most places were like the minimum was like 50,000 or 100,000 units
Mm-hmm. Yep.
versus China, it's a few thousand units for you to get. You can get the same thing, so you can get a much
Yeah.
more minimum order and for way cheaper too.
Yeah.
Even after it's
I mean, they'll
landed.
make 10. They don't care. They're like, we'll
Yeah,
make 10, whatever you want. They don't care. You
yeah,
pay for the tooling,
yeah,
and then they'll make whatever for you, and they'll get it done really fast,
yeah,
mostly. So it was really interesting. Like with REI, we had a delayed shipment at the beginning, and there's just form you fill out, and they have a list of reasons why it's delayed.
yeah.
Chinese New Year was on that list,
Oh, wow.
and we're like, oh,
Yeah,
this is a big thing that
yeah,
all this is how dependent the outdoor industry is
yeah,
on offshore manufacturing and stuff.
yeah,
So anyway, that was a big surprise because yes, we come from a background of everything we have is manufactured in the United States,
yeah,
and everything we buy to make the airplane parts is manufactured in the United States.
yeah,
And so, yeah, it was a big, and the fact that people wouldn't make it for us, that was probably the biggest eye opener. That they
yeah,
would just say, no, we would thought we had this huge order from REI. We thought, oh, easy. No, that was like a pittance for them.
yeah.
So,
Wow. It'll be
yeah,
interesting to see how manufacturing potentially changes over the years, or if it's just going to continue to be the same. I'm not in that industry as much for tariff stuff and everything else, and wanting to bring
yeah,
manufacturing back into the U.S. But I know that certain manufacturing abilities are easier to shift versus others are. It's a years and years process before you can get that manufacturing ramped up for certain items, for certain materials and everything. So I mean, it's
yeah.
really cool to hear that. So I guess if you can kind of maybe tell me what sets, I know we talked a little bit about Grubcan, but if you could tell me maybe like the sizes that you guys have, and then like what sets you apart from the other bear can guys.
Yeah. So right now we have a 4.5. So we have a 4.5 liter and a 6.6 liter in the carbon Kevlar version.
Okay.
And in that you have different colors and the choices and stuff. And then in the Wave, which is the clear polycarbonate one, we just have the 6.6 liter.
Okay.
And so we're gonna we can't decide if we're going to make the smaller one next or the 10-liter version. We get
Yeah.
we get requests for a different size all the time, but it's split. So, and it costs a lot of money to get a new one going.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so we're kind of playing with that, which is we started in the middle. And then what sets us apart really is the two things that I wanted was I wanted it easy to open for people,
Mhm.
and not bears, because I wanted people to want to carry a bear
Yeah.
canister. I wanted to protect. I mean, our mission statement is we protect wildlife in the home we share with them, and that it's who we are. I mean, I've grown up in that world, and it's who we are, and that's what it's integrates everything that we do.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make something that people would want to carry. And by doing that, we've made something that's easy for people to open, not bears, and and that it doesn't require a tool because, as I
Yeah.
said, I lease
Yeah.
tools. And so that was really our two game changers. The fact that we ended up with the lightest canister was just a nice fluke.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well, I tell you, that's a really good fluke because
it was a really good.
like that is, I can't tell you how many people are kind of gram weenies where they're just like every ounce counts, especially through hikers. Like they're like, okay, I have to get it under 10 pounds and stuff. And when you have to carry a bear can and it's only weighs like a couple of pounds versus the other guys, I
Less
mean,
than, yeah, it weighs
yeah,
less than 2 pounds,
yeah,
yeah.
you're always, I mean, I'm gonna go with that over anything else,
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then it has, no, go ahead.
It's really interesting because we have people who are going to, like, the Grand Canyon. I
Yeah,
mean, the Grand Canyon's at our back door, and going there and carrying bear canisters as opposed to the, just to keep it from the critters
yeah,
because it's more protective and
yeah,
because, raccoons are so smart.
yeah,
And so that's really fun to see that people, that was our goal when we first
yeah,
started getting those requests. We're like, okay, that was what we wanted. We wanted people to want to carry this canister.
yeah,
And stuff like we don't hang anymore. We only,
yeah.
no matter where we are, we always carry a grub can.
When I was in the North Cascades a couple of years ago, we were up on Sahale or Sahale, I can't remember the mountain, and we were camping up there, and we had brought too much food, and so we had a bear can, but we didn't have anywhere to put it, and there wasn't that much room, and the bear can was so heavy, I was like, well, I'm just going to take whatever I can. So critters ended up getting in our bags, and I was
Mhm.
like, man, because I think a lot of people, I think most people, unless you're like a intense backpacker of some degree, if you're just a casual person, you don't understand why you need a bear can in an area that potentially doesn't even have bears. And a lot of
Mhm.
times it's really just to help keep the raccoons and the critters out so that they don't get used to campsites and everything else too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think that's great that you have that foresight into like, that's what we want it to be, where people take it all the time to help not just bears, but all the critters and stuff like that too. Because I mean, I've only seen a bear once, and that was on the Wonderland Trail last year. But
Oh,
I
yeah.
can't tell you how many times I see critters, or when we were in Yosemite last time at North Dome, there was like these huge deer that came through the camp in the middle of the night. I could barely hear them. And all of a sudden they were right there. And I was like, man, I'm glad I didn't have my food out in a bag, because they would have totally torn up all my food in the middle of the night. And I would have never heard them. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. So it's good to hear about that. So now I want to talk about a couple of quick things. Is one, where is the most unique place that you've ever heard of your product being at? Like maybe a location, or the way, like a use case that someone used it for?
Um, well, one is Supai, which is in the Grand Canyon. The
Yeah.
first time we got a request for somebody to go into Supai because they don't provide containers down there anymore
Okay.
like they used to because the
Yeah.
raccoons figured out how to open them. And so the fact that people started carrying them in Supai, and of course we're in Flag and people would just
Yeah.
come by the shop and pick them up if
Yeah.
they were renting them. Um, and then also finding out the bike packers were using them.
Oh.
And uh, I didn't even know bike packing was a thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not my world.
Yeah.
But then when people reached out to us and said, "Oh, I'm doing this bike pack, and your canister fits perfectly, in this spot," and was like, oh, that's, that was fantastic. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that was fun.
that's awesome. And then what's maybe a moment when a customer story or review hits you hard? Like maybe because I know no matter how good your product is, there's always someone, and it could be like even something where some people just don't think when they get products. And so maybe a bad review that you were like, oh, this is just a customer mistake, or something that maybe made you think, oh, we need to maybe change this in the future. Maybe it was with the Gen 1, or there might not be even a bad story, but I'm just asking kind of, what's something that maybe a customer said that kind of hit you hard?
Well, I mean, there's two things on that. One is that when we first, for the first gravity latch, when we started putting it out, the emails that we started getting from people
Yeah.
thanking us for making that, because
Yeah.
we had filled a niche that I didn't even know so many people wanted. And so
Yeah.
all those emails, I mean, at first few that we got, that's when Jim and I were both like, wow, okay, we got
Yeah.
something here.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We had done a lot of
Yeah.
research, but it turns out, there was a huge niche that we
Yeah.
didn't know existed. And then, I mean, we've been really fortunate. The most recent, the only one that I can think of was recent. We probably have gotten some other ones, but
Yeah.
I don't remember them. And that was somebody who was upset that he had gotten to Yosemite and did not realize he couldn't use his grub
Oh,
canister and had to use one of the big ones and had to
yeah.
send the grub can back. He
Yeah.
didn't ask us, and it's on our website,
Yeah.
that it can't be used in
Yeah.
Yosemite. And of course, Yosemite has the list and stuff. And so we felt bad, and we've worked now to try to make that more prominent on our
Yeah.
website, that it's not in
Yeah.
Sequoia Kings Canyon. They go on the same list.
Yeah.
And so we tried to make that, but every canister has places it can't be
Yeah.
used for various reasons. And so that was hard, because we want people to have a good experience, and we
Oh,
definitely don't
yeah.
want to make their life more difficult.
Yeah. No, I mean, I noticed it. I'm glad I noticed it too, because I go to Yosemite, and I really hope that they quickly, I know it'll probably take a while, but who knows?
Yeah,
Something might quickly pop
that's
up, and
right.
all of a sudden I can start using it there, because that would be awesome. Is your can certified in Canada as well?
Canada, it's used in Canada.
Okay.
They don't have their own product, but they go by the IGBC because of the
Okay.
Grizzlies.
Okay.
And so they go by the IBC rating there. And so, yeah, so we have a lot going on in Canada, Alaska with the really big bears. So we're pretty happy about that, because the really big bears, we've had a lot of bear canisters don't test with the 1,000-pound grizzly
Yeah.
at the park, and we wanted ours tested with we've paid extra to have it tested with
Yeah.
that, because we knew. I mean, my husband lived in Alaska. He knows those, what that's like, and we wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that anybody who took it to Alaska and the biggest bears, that it would survive it.
Oh, yeah, because
So
I saw
yeah,
that video on your website of it just like,
yeah,
and I'm looking, going, in my mind, I'm going, oh, this is gonna crush it, and I'm like, it's not even moving, and I'm like,
yeah,
man,
I know.
that scared me
Yeah.
more than anything else, because I just watched, maybe like a month ago, I watched the movie The Backcountry with my wife, and it's about this grizzly bear up in Canada that kills this guy, and the girlfriend has to escape, and so that was just before I had to go on a trip, and my wife was like, I don't want to go, and there's no grizzlies, but she's just like, and then I saw that video. I was like, man, they are just like the most crazy, powerful beasts that I've
Oh,
just ever seen. I can't imagine seeing it,
they
watching that in real life when you were testing. It must have been really cool.
The first time my husband goes to every test.
Yeah.
I only went to the first few, but yeah, every time it is nerve-wracking to watch
Yeah.
them, because it costs a lot of money to make those prototypes, and
Yeah.
you're just like going, "Okay, what's gonna
Yeah, you're like,
happen?"
oh, flush that one down the toilet, and then you got to do another
Well, yeah,
one. Yeah.
yeah, they definitely crushed a couple, and so we had to go back to
Yeah.
the drawing board.
Okay, cool. So like 2 more questions and then I'll just go through, we do have like a rapid fire round that we like to put people through, just kind of quick one word questions. So what
Okay.
advice would you give to someone at the trailhead or at the beginning of their business for their outdoor business or their business dream? What's one piece of advice for someone maybe starting a business in the outdoor industry?
Um, it really, I don't know who says this, but it's really true. And that is, make things for your customer. Don't fall in love with your product, fall in love with your customer. And it's just, we've been really fortunate. We have a lot of raving fans
Yeah.
that we don't do, we're not marketers that just tell everybody about that. And we've
Yeah.
been really fortunate. And that customer service is, they talk about it, but building those relationships has really been the key. For me, it's the funnest part. That's the
Yeah.
part that I really love the most, is getting the emails from customers and talking with them and answering their questions. And that, I think, is the most important part to do from the beginning.
Yeah.
And also really, it's a lot of work, but really do a lot of research as to how big your market is and how
Yeah.
many people really want your product.
Yeah. I think that's really good. Like the loving your customer over your product. Because I
Yeah.
think people fall in love with I think I talked with someone else about that too, is you fall in love with your baby, but
Yeah,
it's not, it's only your baby. No one else wants to play with your kid, basically.
that's right.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
and those
Yeah.
customers, I think that like, my background is I used to do wedding photography for like years. I've done over
Mhm.
600 weddings, me and my wife.
Wow.
And getting those emails or getting those text messages from our clients that are like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing picture. Oh my gosh, you got this person crying. When you have a product like yours, I'm sure people are like, oh my gosh, my trip was so much more comfortable, or I could actually get into it with my gloves. Thank you
Hmm.
for changing
In the
my through
cold.
hike. Yeah.
Yes. In
Yeah.
the cold. Yeah.
I
That's
think
we
that's
get
the
a lot of
coolest thing
those.
because you can
Yeah.
use it. You can definitely do that with gloves on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah.
I guess I can go into the rapid fire section unless you have anything else you want to add before I go into that.
Um, no, can't think of any
Yeah.
right now.
No,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Okay. So rapid fire, these are just quick kind of one word answers. You might give me a little bit more than one word on some of them, but I'm just going to ask you them and then you can answer them real quick. Okay. So first question is, on the trail, coffee or electrolyte drink when you're hiking?
Electrolytes.
Electrolytes.
Yep.
Do you have
Yeah.
a favorite electrolyte flavor?
Flavor?
Yeah.
Lemon lime.
Lemon lime? Yes.
Yeah.
Is that I'm trying to remember the brand that I have lemon lime with. It might be on the wall behind me actually. Is it Tailwind or
No, I use Salt
no?
Stick.
Okay, Salt Stick. I need to try
They
that.
have tablets, and it makes it really easy because I'm not dependent on drinking water too.
Yeah.
I have to have a lot of salt, so I sweat
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
All right. So this is a question I ask everybody, but I'm sure you're gonna say, I know the national park you're gonna say, but favorite national park?
Yeah, God, I don't have one really. God, that's hard. I got them all. I mean, Yosemite definitely is like my second home just because
Yeah.
I've lived there. Um, but um, yeah, but you know what? Like I got to go to Cascade.
Uh-huh.
Was it Cascade National Park? It's funny, I don't even know the name of it. A few years ago for my
Yeah.
first time, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" So I
Yeah.
mean, I have not been to all the national parks,
Yeah.
and so it's probably the one I haven't been to yet.
Yeah. So the Cascade, was it, because I went to North Cascade and I don't know if Cascade and North Cascade are attached, but it's like they call North Cascades the Swiss Alps of America.
Olympic National Park. That's it.
Olympic. Okay.
Out on the peninsula. That's the one I
Yeah. Yeah.
went to.
Yeah.
Olympic National Park.
Yes.
And I absolutely fell in love with the variety of the landscape there.
Yeah.
And it was incredible. I love that. I love that place. So
I think when COVID happened and my wife and I started taking our kids to all these national parks,
uh-huh.
we realized how you don't have to go to all these different countries to go and experience all these different ecosystems and there's so much here that you can get to so easily in America. We're just so programmed to think we have to travel to Switzerland or, Africa or Asia to see these epic places. And they do have epic places, but I mean, in your own backyard, there's so many cool spots.
Well, what's really interesting about that is that my husband and I had gone backpacking in the Bryce area. Bryce, I don't think we weren't in Bryce National Park, but that whole area,
Yeah.
the Canyonlands and stuff in southern Utah, we'd gone there. And 2 weeks later, we went to Jordan for a business trip.
Yeah.
But we extended it and went all over. And we were out by the Dead Sea and out exploring.
Yeah.
And we were like, wait a minute. This looks like we were just backpacking. It was so bizarre to feel like we were back at home again. And here we were. I had just, done 2 days of travel to get there. Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Next question. Worst trail snack you've ever tried?
Worst trail snack? Oh, I don't know. I hate it when nuts go rancid.
Ew.
And there are a couple of those protein bars that have been pretty nasty, but I can't remember the name.
That's okay. So now, what is the best trail snack you've ever had? Or what's your go-to trail snack?
Chocolate. I eat 100% chocolate. So I could live on 100% baking chocolate. Alter Ego, 100% dark chocolate is my favorite. Other than that, I love Zora. Zora makes some really good meat bars, and I love Zora makes great stuff.
Okay. Yeah, every year on my birthday, my wife gets me a huge chocolate bar because I love sweets and chocolate is my go-to.
Yeah.
And last night we ate I think it was 85% dark chocolate that we ate last night. And I was like, oh, I love this. I love milk chocolate, but man, I really like dark chocolate too for some reason. So it depends on the brand though too.
Oh, it definitely, yes, it definitely does.
All right. What's one outdoor skill you still kind of suck at?
Outdoor skill, going downhill.
Oh yeah.
I just don't. I go uphill. I mean, when my husband and I hike together, I'm in front going uphill.
Yeah.
And he's in front going down because he can go down. I'm like every little step.
Yeah.
So, and it's always been that way. Even when I was younger, I've always hated going downhill.
Yeah.
So,
do you guys use trekking poles or no trekking poles?
No. If it's really slippery, I'll use one. I'm really kind of adamant about letting my body do all the work so that I keep my balance and keep my strength.
Yeah.
My dad's 88 years old and still hikes without hiking poles and is in great shape. And so I follow that lead. But if it's in a slippery or we're in a snow patch or something, I'll use one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And 2 more questions. What is the biggest splurge you've made for your business?
From business? Biggest splurge we made for our business. Probably get paying for the tooling for the Wave Grubcan that we just put out. That was.
I'm sure that was because I watched a guy do some tooling stuff, and that's like one of the biggest expenses is getting that tooling done. So
it's by far the biggest expense is the tooling.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. I don't think people understand when you're in a product that you have to make tooling for, how ridiculously expensive it can be. And so sometimes I go, okay, maybe because I have this product that I'm still trying to develop for, that's and I'm trying to think if it's my baby or if everybody else wants it before I start diving into it, because I don't want to put too much effort into something that no one's gonna buy. So, but and then I'm like, oh, tooling is gonna hurt me.
Well, it's really interesting. I was talking to a friend who developed a shoe way back when.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a well-known brand, but we're talking about a new product that he wants to create, and I was like, well, the tooling for this is only this, and so we get it started at this. He said no. He said for shoes, you have to have 24 different toolings. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
oh, of course. I totally forgot about the
Yeah.
fact that you have so much more tooling for
Yeah.
shoes, and getting the shoes out was going to be this whole other expense. So it's, even though I know about tooling, that was something, yeah, whole opening.
Wow. Okay. So I guess the last one is what's something you're still learning as a leader?
Um, well, hmm. I don't think of myself as a leader. I really feel like I just get to work with the people that I get to
Yeah.
work with, and they'll ask for, guidance and stuff, and I appreciate that. But I, to me, we're all a team, and
Yeah.
I always want the feedback from my team as well, because I don't pretend that I know it all by any
Yeah.
part,
That's
stretch of
good.
the
Yeah.
imagination.
That's good that you take feedback from your team because I
Yeah,
know personally I'm a terrible leader. I've been put in a
yeah.
managerial position and I'm a good worker, but when they put me in a
Mm,
managerial position, I was like, I'm not a good manager because I'm very
yeah.
hard-headed. And so I can listen to people, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna change what I'm doing. I will listen to you, but I might not change what I'm doing. So, well,
I have learned
awesome.
from my husband. Because he's created such an amazing company, and
Yeah.
people are really happy there. And so I just follow his lead, because
Yeah.
he's really good at it.
That's cool. Well, I hope to meet your husband one day too. Maybe I'll stop by Flagstaff when I come
You're
by next
ever due,
time.
please. We love to give tours. Yeah, please do. It's really fun because um amazingly, we've just been this summer been selling canisters from people in Flagstaff, Sedona
Yeah.
area, and so we do. We always have them come. They can come pick it up, and then if they want to look at what we do and how we produce the carbon Kevlar, we're happy to show them.
Yeah.
And so it's really fun. It's really fun to do that. So one thing I do want to say that I have not
Mhm.
said, in case anybody's interested, we rent, and
Oh,
it is
okay.
on our website, but we rent, and it allows people to try them out, especially the carbon Kevlar, because they're
Yeah.
so expensive now.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of good response, and we fill, if you do run a rent, we fill up on those really fast.
Yeah.
Those That's become
Okay.
really popular. Yeah.
What am I saying? How in advance do you need to put the rental in? Like, let's say I'm going camping in a month. I'm good versus like, can I get something in 2 days or what's
Yeah.
the quick?
So we in a this time of year it's not as busy.
Yeah.
In the May, June, July, really through August, we get pretty booked up. And people are starting. I mean, we're starting to get rental requests in January, which is great. This time of year, you can get stuff. We do have to ship it to you, so we do
Yeah.
ask for more than a week notice,
Yeah.
unless you're willing to pay for express.
Yeah.
You know how it goes. You never know
Yeah.
how UPS or USPS is going to go with things. So,
Oh, yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm
yeah.
glad to know that you rent. I should have asked you that at the beginning. I totally forgot, but
Yeah,
I'll make.
it's funny. I totally forget too. I should have. I thought I was just like, oh, I didn't talk about the rentals, but yeah, the rental program's really
Yeah.
has picked up, so we're excited about that.
Oh, that's cool. Because I'm about 40 minutes away from the beginning of the Appalachian Trail.
Uh huh.
So my wife and I go hiking there all the time. The
Yeah.
ultra marathon I told you about is right at the beginning. The backyard ultra is right at the start of the AT, where the
And are you
waterfall is
going
and stuff.
up the AT, or are you going other places?
So it's just right at the I forgot the name of the waterfall, and I go there all the time. But it's right there. You have to go up the stairs, and there's like a 3.8 mile loop, and then you do that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right. You said it was a
yeah,
3.8 mile over and
yeah,
over again.
yeah. So you're
Okay,
just
great.
doing it over and over again. So we'll see. My wife's excited to like help me at the trail and stuff. But I don't know. I don't know. It'll be my first like just doing loops. But I feel like I have a home field advantage a little bit because I can just go up
Mhm.
there. I have a buddy of mine we're gonna go up there for a day and just go for maybe 5 or 6, 7 laps. Try to get a pace going, get a feel for it, so get the training and stuff going. So
Well,
um,
when you do that, you get to know the
yeah,
nits and gritties of the
yeah,
trail. Like, oh, there's a rock there.
yeah,
So it's like your feet start remembering
yeah,
the trail better, and that
yep,
way you can just focus on going.
yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought about that because I do a 5K loop that's right near my house. I know where every
Uh-huh.
root, every tree branch, because I
Yes.
run it every day and I do like 2 to 3 to 4 laps of it. So I
Yeah.
never thought about that. So I might go up there even more now, knowing that I'm just going to basically, it's like driving a car, right? You don't even think about
Yes.
driving. You just kind of go to your destination. Man,
Yeah.
thank you for that advice.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, like,
Yeah.
like if you're going on a curvy road, there's a curvy road I drive at least once a week, and I can just do it now. I know every
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
nook
The
and
speed that
cranny
you
of
go
that.
through and stuff like that, as opposed to like, what speed should I be going through this turn? You know exactly how fast you can go through it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
funny because I really like I really like doing loops, like, if I'm
Yeah.
just a daily walk, because then I don't have to think about it. I can just go into that meditative
Yeah.
kinda zone place because my body just knows it, and I can just kinda zone
Yep.
out and think about other things.
Yeah.
I love loops.
That's awesome. Well, thank you,
Yeah.
Holly. I really appreciate you being
Yeah.
be on the
Thank
trailhead with
you.
us. And if people want to find out more about you, feel free to why don't you let me know real quick what your website is, how they can find you on social medias, and if there's any other maybe distributors they can find you there too.
Yeah, so, our website is just grubcan.com, and we're on Instagram, and that's also just Grubcan. Um, and um, and then right now we sell through Anti-Gravity Gear,
Okay.
who's in North Carolina or something. They go to the Appalachian Trail Days.
Yeah.
So right now they're our only other distributor. Obviously, we sell on our own website.
Yeah.
We rent, and we're the only place that rents. We haven't figured out how to work with other people to rent
Yeah.
yet. So we do all that on our own website. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
And we can't wait to see you on the trail, Holly. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you.